Hello everybody and welcome to the channel. Today's video is something that I've wanted to do for a long time. We're going to start a fresh save on No Man's Sky and do a beginner's guide. So we're going to start off in normal. As you can see, there's other modes: creative, survival, permadeath, and there's an expedition on at the moment. But we're going for normal. So let's get started. I haven't done this in a long time. I was going to do this on my channel actually, but then obviously Boid asked me to come over and join him on this channel and make some content. So I thought, right, here's the opportunity to do it if I was ever going to do it. So let's dive in and let's see what kind of planet it gives us. Let's initiate. I ain't pressed that in ages. Right, here we go. Brand new save, brand new planet, brand new character. Looks like we're on a toxic world. You always start off on either a hot or a cold or a toxic or something like that, something that you need to survive on. It's very rare that you'll land on something like a paradise planet. You do find them in the first system, second system that you tend to visit, but you will always find that 99 times out of 100 you're going to land on a planet like this, or a hot one or a cold one. But it looks like today we're getting toxic, which is cool because I don't really visit these planets often in my legacy save. Now if you're new to this channel and you've followed it through because you're looking for like a beginner's guide to No Man's Sky and stuff like that, me and BoidGaming are actually on about 1.92k subscribers at the moment, and it'd be really cool if we can get to 2,000. So if you enjoy this beginner's guide, then please give us a like, give us a subscribe, and follow what we do. Right, so we've landed on this planet. First things first, we're going to flip into camera mode and get a good look around. So all you do is you press down on your D-pad and flick across to the camera icon and then pop in. What we're looking for is caves, really, because the environment's going to be really toxic and there's going to be storms and there's going to be really bad weather and stuff, and we're going to need a lot of sodium to survive. But if we can find a cave early on, we can nip in there and we can avoid a lot of the worst of the weather. Plus there's cobalt in caves, and that's going to come in very handy later on. You can trade it, and also you're going to need it for other things like the ion battery, which is going to be a big help at the beginning of the game because it's going to stop you having to hunt for sodium. But first things first, we have to grab some ferrite dust so that we can fix our scanner, so that we can start scanning around for the different elements that we're going to need. So here we go. Let's start scanning away on the boulders. We're over here, so we'll just check this one out. And once we know what it is, we'll give it a ray gun and we'll collect them all up. Here we go. We'll just sort all these out. Grab anything else that you can as well while you're at it. If there's something there, just grab it, because you're going to need everything that you can get at the beginning of the game. But yeah, we've got enough now, so let's flip into here and let's install the scanner. So here we go. Just pop the ferrite dust in there. That does that automatically, and then that's it. Your scanner's working. So now if you click down on your L3, you'll be able to send out that wave and you'll be able to see all the different elements that you can grab. Yellow is the sodium, that's the most important one at this stage that you're going to need. The other one's the blue, the dihydrogen, the red, the oxygen. And yeah, just start bezzing around, grab as much as you can, head over to this sodium plant and pick this up. And you see now, all you have to do is go into your drop menu on your D-pad on the down, go into your energy, and then there you go, there's your hazard protection. Pop your sodium in and that'll keep you going for a bit. One thing you can do at the beginning of this game is to like not panic and think, oh my god, I've got no sodium, I'm gonna die, and run around like a madhead. Take your time, because the sodium does last quite long and you can get away on like a third of a tank for quite a while. So take the time to collect as much as you can, like comfortably, without like putting yourself out. And yeah, just build up as much as you can before you get to your ship, because you're going to need those elements. But right, we can install a visor now that we're going to need. That's going to help us scan for things. There are other things like a bolt caster and a shield, but we don't need to look at them yet. All we're interested in is being able to scan and being able to get to the ship and take off. So we're going to need carbon nanotubes, and carbon nanotubes are made from carbon. So we'll go out in a sort of general direction to that red marker that we need to head to. we'll sort of zigzag across the landscape. We'll have a look and see what there is, grab as much as we can. All these plants here, we'll have all this carbon, this will do. So we'll collect all this up. There's some dihydrogen there as well. There'll be some ferrite dust as well. Keep your eye out for your caves. If you spot any, get in them as soon as you can, because obviously, like I say, you're going to need that cobalt, because it's cobalt and ferrite dust that make the ion batteries. And once you've got the ion batteries, you don't have to bother collecting as much sodium. I mean, don't skip past it, still collect it if you see it, but you're not sort of desperate for it. The ion batteries are a godsend at the beginning of the game. So we've got enough now, so we're going to make a carbon nanotube. So pop that in there, and then we'll head over to our multi-tool. There we go. And then we'll head into the visor, pop the carbon nanotube in, and now that means we can actually enter into visor mode. We can have a look round, and we can see what there is in the landscape. Like I say, if you really want to, you can updo your bolt caster, you can do your shield, you can do all this at the beginning if you want. You can spend more time than I'm going to on this planet. But to be honest, for the purpose of this video, and to get the best start in the game, the quickest start in the game, should I say, this is what I'm doing today. So here we go. Right, that's a knowledge stone actually, so we'll not skip past that, we'll collect that. If you see these dotted about on the landscapes, then interact with them, because they will give you words from whatever race in the system that you're in, and it gets you started on the tree, because the more words that you unlock, the more you can understand the different races as they're talking to you throughout the game, which is pretty cool. So yeah, don't be afraid to grab stuff like that straight from the beginning. But yeah, we'll crack on and head towards the ship. We'll just do the old grabberoo, see what there is. I haven't seen many animals yet. Sometimes animals take a while to spawn in. I've seen one or two dotting about. Still haven't seen any caves. Speaking of animals. Right, cool. So we enter visor mode. It's L2 on PlayStation. And we're going to scan this little guy here. Now, animals will give you the most money, because you can actually collect units for everything that you scan. Rocks and stuff will give you the least. Lots of the plants and stuff are pretty good. But the animals will give you a lot. So I suggest you scan the animals as soon as you can and build up some units, because when you get to the space station, you're going to need them to buy and trade. So yep, this will make this the last leg, and we'll head over. We'll do some scanning, we'll collect some units. Also, scanning as a secondary thing, because once you've scanned something, if you then do take it out, you actually get more parts for it. So say like you scan a tree. If you don't scan it, you get like 100 carbon, and then if you do scan it, you get like 150 carbon. But you can get secondary elements as well, which come into play really good, because then you can pick up some things that you're not particularly going to know what to do with at the beginning, but they're good to hang on to, because they come in sort of like the last stage 2 and 3 of the game. But here we go, we've arrived at the ship. As you can see, it's a wreck, looks knackered, on fire, needs fixing. So we need to head over to that little unit over there, because that's going to kickstart the next part of the beginning chapters. But just before we do, let's just head over here, because there's little boxes and crates that you can open, and sometimes they've got good stuff in them that survive. Like, look, that had sodium in it. And these green crates, they're going to give you rusted metal. Now, you can get rid of it. I suggest you don't. Pop it in your cargo, because you can refine it down into ferrite dust, and it stops you having to run around. I'll show you how to do that in video 2 once we've got the portable refiner and we get going. But here we go, open this machine. Now you can get rid of this. I mean, you can refine it down and then refine it down again, and it turns into nanites, but to be honest, at this stage in the game, there's faster ways to make nanites. I mean, I've just made nanites by opening it. So, right, here we go. Let's head over to this dude in a sec. Oh yeah, just before we go, these things you won't be able to open yet, because we need an Atlas Pass, which is like a key that you get later on in the game. But don't worry about them, because they're quite generic in what they give you. Right, so there's some text to read through this, and this is just going to sort of like link you up to it, so that you can start repairing your ship, and you can crack on with all that. I won't give any spoilers away really. I mean, you can see the text appearing on the screen. I'm trying to flick through it quite quick, so I don't want to ruin the story, because it is a pretty good story. So right, let's head over and get this ship going then, because we're going to have to do a bit of running about to do this. It's not much, and like I say, as long as you sort of prepared yourself by collecting loads of materials, you can crack on with this pretty quick. So we enter in, and again, there's some more text. All the ship's knackered, engines are knackered, everything's knackered, thrusters have gone. We get to have a little bit of an interaction with the ship here. That's to ponder as to what we're going to do and how we're going to fix it. Now you can read the log, but for the purpose of this, we're just going to jump straight in. So let's see what we need to do to fix this. The radiant pillar has changed actually over the years, hasn't it? It used to be different to this, but still it's a cool little ship. Right, so here we go. Pulse engines are offline. We need hermetic seals and metal plating. So before we exit this, let's just head into the menu. Right, so this is your starship. So let's just head into here and let's grab some metal plating because we've got quite a bit of ferrite. So we've built that up already. This is what I mean about collecting materials as much as you can early on, because it means that you don't have to keep jumping in and out and doing this. You're sort of prepared for it. So we'll pop the metal plating in and we'll get out of the ship to activate the next part of it. Well, it's a bit annoying, you have to do a little bit of a jump about. But what we're after is the hermetic seal, and we're not going to be able to do that until we've nipped over to somewhere else and grabbed some coordinates and done some bits. Eventually you can unlock it and then you can just make it like the metal plating. But I suppose this is the game's way of sort of introducing you to a few mechanics and getting you used to doing a few things. A lot of people think that the game doesn't really hold your hand very much at the beginning. I think as long as you sort of stick to these basic first few missions and you get out into space, once you're there, yeah, it does sort of let go a little bit and let you go. But as long as you follow it and you make sure that you collect as much materials and do all that work at the beginning, you're alright. You can get off the planet within about 40 minutes if you're taking it casually. So we need to head over to this machine here, just like the ship told us to. And it's going to give us a planetary map, which we're then going to use to find a building, and then we're going to be able to crack on and get the hermetic seal that we need. As you can see, planetary maps popped in, so square on PlayStation or whatever your relevant buttons are, and it'll send out a massive beam like this, and there you go, that little red marker's popped up. So it's not too far to go. Bit of a trek, probably about 600 U's, 700 U's, just over that ridge. Right, so we will crack on and we will head over there, and as we're going, we're going to do the biz, we're going to zigzag across, we're going to collect as much materials as we can, and we're going to keep our eye out for some caves. We really need to find some caves because that cobalt is quite essential at the beginning. If we can get onto iron batteries as fast as possible, it'll be easier than running around. And there we go, those dark marks on the map over there, that's what we need to do. They're caves. This is why camera mode is so essential, because you can pop in and out of it and you can just check so far ahead to make sure you're going the right way. Especially if you're in single player mode and you've taken multiplayer off, because it actually pauses the game as well, so you don't have to worry too much about losing all of your hazard protection. Now we want to be scanning these because we can make units off them. We also want to check out, see if there's anything else we can just grab while we're stood in here. While you're in a cave, you don't have to worry at all about what's going on outside with the weather or even any of the hazard protection units, and making sure that you're stocked up, because you're not affected at all, which is why it's so essential to find them right at the beginning. I would definitely say it is probably the top tip of the game, find caves as soon as possible. Now if you go in your drop menu, flick across to that cog, and then you can just turn your torch on and see what you're doing. And we're going to scan all of these, and once we've got as much cobalt as we can carry for now, we can head on back to doing what we're doing. But like I say, this is a detour that is kind of essential at the beginning because it saves steps later down in the line. Right, here we go, let's head on. We've got what we need, and we'll just keep going, grab bits and bobs as we go. Like I say, don't detour too much. If it's in the general path as to where you're going, then grab it. But yeah, don't get too distracted. You want to be getting to your ship and getting it fixed as soon as possible, because you can spend a long time in the first system that you're in before you start warping around if you want to, because there's always a lot of different planets that you can go visit, and if you're lucky you can get a paradise planet. If you are lucky, we don't see many of them for the first couple of rounds. I've not seen many of them anyway. But if you can get one, then you're quite quids in at the beginning, because you can save a lot of money having to go and buy resources. Now this is one of the 3 plants that I mentioned earlier when I said you do your scanner. You grab that one and it'll boost your jetpack. for a limited time only, so you can really take advantage of travelling as fast as you can over distances to get to where you need to. Because before you're able to upgrade your jetpack with the various modifications that you can get for it, they do tend to really speed up the travel. I think it's just over this ridge. We're not far away, so we're nearly there. So that jetpack helped us cover quite a distance, so it's worth keeping your eye out for those blue ones. Right, now that we're here, it's telling us to go inside. So we'll head inside this pod. Again, we're inside a structure, so we're not going to have to worry about our hazard protection, so we can take our time in here a bit. If you wanted to sort out what you were doing, or anything that you've collected, you can pick up geodes from doing like dihydrogen collecting and stuff like that. You can break them down. But we're interested in this, so we need to just scroll through this text. We need to just activate these other bits and bobs to get our hermetic seal that's been left for us. And once we've got that, we can head back to the ship. But just before we do, it's worth just checking around to see what's there. Sometimes the other pods have got something in them, sometimes they haven't. But there is a few broken machines around the back and other bits and bobs that you can grab, so don't disappear too quick. Just check the area out. For the first sort of 2 hours of the game, I'd say, you're in scavenger mode. So you really want to be grabbing as much as you can. Any way that you can build up nanites or anything like that, you want to take advantage of early on. Because when you get to those space stations, you're going to find that anything that you want to buy, you're going to have to use units for. And any modules that you want to get from the vendors, you're going to have to pay for in nanites. If you can get about 400 or 500 going in nanites, you can get a couple of thousand under your belt before you head to the first space station. I always suggest that's a really good way of going on. You don't have to do it on the first planet that you're on, which is why we're going to fix this ship as fast as possible. Because once we're off this planet, we can actually go to the other ones in the system and we can check out and see what they've got. And like I say, if we land lucky, we'll be able to then land on a planet which is a bit nicer, a bit less harsh on us, and we'll be able to just spend a bit of time collecting and gathering resources, which is my favourite way of playing the game in the first couple of hours. Once you get enough behind you and you've got further on with your mods and stuff, and you start trading and you start doing all that business, obviously the game escalates from there and you find yourself not doing much of this, which is why I think I was so excited to come back and do a beginner's guide to the game, because this is a part of the game which I actually really enjoyed the most. Working through the first couple of missions and stuff like that, and then leading on to the Artemis path and the Atlas path and stuff like that, and finishing the story quests, it really is a good game to play. So we've got everything we need. We'll head back to the ship and we'll get her fixed up and we'll get taking off. Right, so let's just get inside, save our exosuit from having to do the work. Right, add our hermetic seal, and there we go. That's got that fixed and working. We just need to sort the landing thrusters out. So to do that, we're going to need some pure ferrite and some dihydrogen jelly, which is oh, hang on a minute. Did I just I did. Oh, here we go. Oh, that's banging. First run in and we get to see a giant worm. These are awesome. Absolutely awesome. There was an expedition where you could unlock and ride your own worm, and it was pretty cool. I did that on my legacy save. But that, for the first 20 minutes of the game, nice. That's what it's all about. Awesome. Anyway, back to business. So we're going to need to get a portable refiner made so that we can do the dihydrogen jelly and we can do the pure ferrite, which is why we've been collecting dihydrogen and why we've been collecting ferrite as we've been going along to stock up. So dihydrogen jelly is pretty easy. We can just make it out of the craft menu. But for the pure ferrite, we're going to have to make it through the refiner. So we'll just go into the landing thruster and pop the dihydrogen jelly in, and that'll activate the next part of the quest. Now, like I said, you're going to have to build a portable refiner. To do that, you're going to need some metal plating, which is why it's flashing on there, because it wants you to build a metal plating. And the metal plating will then let you build the portable refiner. So we'll just show you the portable refiner first, actually. Yeah, here we go. So it's press up to get into your build menu, and then you'll see you've got it in your thing there. So there you go, look, metal plating. 1 and the oxygen again, which is why we've been collecting oxygen along the way. So yeah, we'll just pop in, make the metal plate in, we'll pop the refiner down, and then we'll put some ferrite in it, and it'll make it into pure ferrite for us. So we'll just interact with it. We're going to need some fuel, which is why we've been collecting carbon. And then just get your ferrite, pick it up, and then on PlayStation it's square to half it, but whatever it is to half it, pop it in, and then click on refine. That'll take a couple of seconds, and that'll turn it into pure ferrite. And I think we need 50, so that's made 54. So yeah, we'll pop that in there. Now, just R3 this, and then you've picked it up and popped it in your inventory, so you don't have to waste a metal plate in every single time that you want to make one. And believe me, you're going to need to make one quite a bit to start with. So we've got the ship finished, and there we go. She's all ready to take out on her first voyage. She's not knackered anymore, she's ready. We'll jump inside and we'll take off. We'll head out and see what the next part of the mission is. I think what we'll do is we'll get into space and we'll do the transmission, and then we'll do a send-off, and then we'll pick up in part 2 with what to do next. But have a fly around, guys, enjoy it, because it's a right trudge when you're on foot. The freedom that you feel when you get in your ship for the first time is amazing. Right, I'll go fly around. You can actually spot buildings as well while you're up here. You can spot caves and everything like that. Later on, when you fix the guns up and stuff like that, you'll be able to fly across the surface of the planet, and you'll be able to shoot at the resources instead and collect them really quickly. But let's head into space for the first time. Here we go. Samano system, Samano 2. There we go, there's our first system. And there we go, right in front of us is another planet. It's got a little moon. So if we click on R3, we can discover it. It'll tell us what kind of planet it is. And then we can do the moon again, see what kind of planet that is. There's all sorts of different resources on the different planets, and it'll tell you what you are. Oh, banging! Paradise planet. We shall certainly be going over there then in a minute. But first, there's a few manoeuvres that we've got to do, just to sort of get used to the ship controls. We have to learn how to just hyper warp a little bit, so we'll just do that. And there we go, that'll fulfill the ship, and that'll open the marker up so that we can move on to the next part of the mission. Just give it a second to come in. Here we go, we're getting a transmission, so we'll answer the call, see what it is, see who's on the other side. This is the start of one of the quest lines, so it's pretty cool because this person's quite cool. I won't give it away. You have a little interaction here, and then they'll tell you some coordinates, and then you'll head over there, and then the next part of the mission will start, and that'll obviously lead you on to your next galaxy, which will lead you on to the anomaly and the Sentinels and the realm of glass and everything else that comes with it, and all the other bits and bobs. And you get to meet Atlas. It's very, very cool. But we'll just see where it is. It looks like it's on the planet that we've just come from. So yeah, that's where we need to be heading to, and that's where we will be heading to in the next video. But just before we sign off, I want to go have a look at this, because it's very rare that I've ever come across this in all my saves. A paradise planet, and a moon as well. And the moon's pretty good because they're smaller, which means they're a bit easier to traverse, they're a bit easier to fly around and stuff, and it means things are packed more together. So we'll definitely, between now and the next time you see me, I will have stocked up massively on carbon, oxygen, dihydrogen, sodium and ferrite dust, and I might even refine a lot of them into their next elements and maybe build a full stack of each one of them on this planet. Now I know I don't have to. If I wanted to crack on with the game, I could actually just go to the space station in this centre and then get on with it, start trading, start doing things like that, and there's quicker ways to build it up. But I'm a bit of a sucker for stuff like this, especially at the beginning of this game, and to find a paradise planet like this, just to sort of roam around and casually get used to what you're doing, especially as a first time gamer. If this is the first time you've played it, I suggest this very much, because you're not going to have to worry at all about any environmental damage to your exosuit, because there isn't any. As you can see at the bottom of the bar, there's nothing. All I have to do is worry about my health. So yeah, you'd get scanning, get collecting, get refining, and just enjoy walking around this planet, because I think the zenness of this game is if you find a paradise planet like this, like just first system from taking off, definitely just have a wander about, just enjoy it. You're going to be able to unlock things like companions probably straight off the bat, so you know, once you can make creature pellets, You're going to be able to tame some of these animals. That cave over there looks very tempting. I'm going to get in there. And yeah, I'll not even tell you what this is. We'll find out in a later video. But for now, thank you very much for watching. Hopefully this has grabbed some subscribers. But if you've enjoyed it, please join in for the next chapter. And I will see you all soon. Take care. Goodbye.